Hi, everyone, and welcome to class. This is Math Study Strategy class, LAC 023 on the schedule. It used to be in the Math department under Math 22, and now it's LAC 23, but the numbers don't matter in this case. We will learn how to develop better study strategies to help you succeed in your math classes. And I wanted to go over some Canvas points with you. I know that you probably already watched my navigation video, but I just wanted to touch briefly on how the course is structured, where to find the information, and what are the assignments in the course. It might seem like there's a lot of assignments, but don't be scared. It's not a lot of assignments, although they do require about 5 to 7 hours per week, that including the class in time. So we meet from 9:30 to 12 for 6 Tuesdays in a row, starting today. The last Tuesday is February 28th. But what we will do is we will be in class for an hour or an hour and a half, and I will let you go before 11, more likely. So you have at least an hour to complete the after class assignments. It's called participation quizzes. Participation quizzes is just the reflection on what you learned in class. So feel free to take any notes if you need, and use the notes when you complete the reflection, written assignments after class. If you miss the class, you can watch the recording and then submit the participation quiz by the end of the day to get the points for participation. Let's look at the Canvas course shell and the syllabus that describes what are the grading categories. So you probably already read when we meet and you're familiar with the course syllabus, but I'll just go over just very briefly. On the Canvas course shell, you can access the syllabus right from the Canvas course shell. You can go to modules with the course assignments, either from this tab, course assignments, or directly from the modules. And you can find my information here. You can call me and leave a message at my extension 6947. You can stop by my office, UH150, or I'm also available on Zoom. My office hours are in the syllabus, but I'm here most of the times. Like today, I was here at 7 a.m. So if you're on campus, please stop by. And I have coffee, by the way, just in case if your electricity goes off and you need coffee anytime. I have lots of coffee. So please stop by and say hi, have coffee, share the chocolate with me. I have some chocolate that I bring from the Ukrainian store. I'm from Ukraine and I love Ukrainian chocolate. So stop by and try some. I have a YouTube channel. It's called JB, Jane Bowers, Math for You. Check it out. I have a lot of videos related to statistics. I have some videos related to trigonometry. I taught trigonometry class and I post a lot of videos on my YouTube channel as well. And I will be posting more basic math topics channels. I do have some, I believe, 3 in the playlist, basic math topics. I have 3 videos so far, so feel free to check them out. Let's go to the modules, and then we'll come back to the homepage. In the first module is course syllabus and resources. Please read the course syllabus. You'll find a lot of information that explains how the course is structured in the course syllabus and the list of helpful resources. Check it out. I have a long list of the resources that you might want to need, such as maybe a first-year experience or student equity that has a lot of clubs. Maybe you want to enroll in one of the clubs. And then also I have the link to the ITS department, the library link, the counseling. So feel free to check it out. Now let's look at how the class is structured by the modules. The module is the week in this class because we have 6 weeks. We have 6 modules besides the course syllabus. Each module will have a week overview, class participation. That's the assignment. That's worth 5 points. Update your Canvas profile. Oh, wait. It should be participation quiz. It's not here. Well, I will move it there. and a class participation and participation quiz right after participation. As I said before, participation quiz is just a written reflection on what you learn in class based on your notes and what you hear in class. And then the assignments, we have homework and discussions in the presentation. Let's go back to the syllabus. I want to open the syllabus and look at the grading system. There is no grade in this class. It's just pass, no pass. And my goal is to help you learn as many good study strategies for math to help you succeed in your future or current if you're currently taking math classes. So here's my information. And by the way, I have workshops, which I will tell you will be one of the assignments that you choose, one of the workshops, my workshops, or academic skills workshops. One of the homework assignments for this week is to register for the Learning Center, and that's where you will find the workshops list. So one of the assignments will be to go to one or two workshops. My workshops, I teach statistics and basic math workshops, or to the academic skills workshops. All workshops are on Zoom this semester. So the grading categories consist of the class participation, 5%. And don't worry, if you miss the class, you can still get that missing points by completing participation quiz by the end of the day. You just need to email me and tell me why you missed the class, and I will remove the late points, because there are late points. There are 5% for each day. And if the assignment is due at 12 p.m., for example, right before class, or during the class time, technically, then if you submit it at 12:01 p.m., it will consider late. But if you email me, I will remove the late points. So there's no problem and no pressure. And then we have homework assignments, discussions, and presentations. They're broken into 30% each. The homework assignments are pretty fun and useful, I think. I try to find something that can be useful for you guys. For example, register for Learning Center Canvas shell, or this week assignments, complete the study strategy inventory, and then we'll discuss it next class. And then written assignments, sometimes I will have the article for you to read and write a reflection, or the video to watch and tell me what you liked about the video. So kind of like that. Discussions. Also, we have, I think, 4 or 5 discussions plus the introduction discussion, which is you just introduce yourself, tell your classmates, tell me what is your goal in this class, what's your major, what are you trying to achieve, and what's your favorite quote. And then also discussions. I find very interesting videos on TED Talks on YouTube that I think will be very helpful in your road to improving the math skills for you. So it's not just the video to watch, not entertain video, but it's something that you can take something from it. So that's the discussions and the presentation. We have 2 topics for the presentation. The first topic is your favorite math topic. Don't worry, if you don't have one, just pick any math topic and just do a 3-4 slides presentation for us. That will be due week 5 in class. We'll do that. That will be fun. And you don't have to turn on the camera if you don't want to. I remember how stressful it was when I took the communication class, how stressful it was to do my first presentation. And then I know that on Zoom, a lot of people are still very nervous, even when they do presentation on Zoom. So if you don't want to turn the camera on, you don't have to, but if you want, you're welcome to. And then the last topic, which we'll do, last presentation we'll do in week 6, is what I learned in this class. So keep your notes together. It's about 5, 6, 7 slides presentation. In that presentation, you will just put all the information that you found useful in this class and what you learned about it. All right, any questions so far?
Yes. So our homework and the participations are going to be in modules, right?
Yes, all homework and participation are going to be in the modules.
Okay. I have another question. What's your YouTube channel name?
JB Math for You. I'll put it in the chat. It's also in the syllabus.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And it's also on the homepage. So if you go to Canvas homepage and you click on it, I can do it right now. You will see it. And if you go to playlists, see that's the video, that's my latest video, the Welcome to Math Study Strategy. And I also made a video recently to promote this course. So hopefully we can use it next semester too. And I have a lot of videos for my statistics classes because I teach mostly online statistics. But I also have videos on how to do StatCrunch, which is statistical software, some Canvas tutorials, and so on.
Thank you so much.
All right, so far so good. All right, so let me share the presentation I prepared for you today. Today, I wanted to talk about how math is different from other subjects and how learning math might be very different from learning other subjects. And the next class will include the math topics that you guys will need in your math classes, and we'll go over the topics. In the homework assignment, you will tell me which topics you would like me to include. And I already have some idea what topics we would need for next class. But right now, let me share my presentation with you. So during the presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to stop me and ask questions, okay? So math courses, you probably notice that they're different because of many reasons. First, before we start talking about how math courses are different, what do you think are the similarity? How math is similar to other subjects? Type your answer in the chat box. And don't worry, there's no right or wrong answer. Just I want to hear your thoughts. How do you think math is similar to other subjects? I have some ideas, but I want to hear you first. So type in the chat, what are your thoughts on that? Yeah, it does require critical thinking, just like many other subjects. Yeah, that's true. Math is similar to other subjects because it is a way of quantifying and labeling things. Math is similar to other subjects like communication class because if you're stuck on a problem, you need to communicate to pass the problem. Yeah, communication is important in math, especially in statistics class. Some students say that statistics is not even math because in statistics, you don't just calculate the problem, but you actually do need to be able to explain the results and to communicate the results and to communicate your thoughts and your hypothesis and the conclusion that you made from your findings to the audience. And this is very important. It is similar to others because it is a way of thinking. Yes, a lot of subjects teach us how to think and how to analyze things, especially math. I think that also it's similar to the foreign language because math can be considered a language. The learning language and learning math has some similar patterns, and we'll talk more about that. Math requires practice, just like many other subjects, especially when you learn some skill that requires consistent practice. For example, in the sports, right? You don't just wake up and think, oh, I'm gonna watch some videos and then I'm gonna go play the sports or perform. No, it doesn't happen. It requires practice. And also it's a requirement, just like many other classes. Now let's talk about the differences. How math class is different from other classes. So why do you think it might be different from other classes, and what are those differences? I do have some thoughts on that too, but I want to hear what you think first. So type in the chat, what do you think are the big differences between learning math and learning other subjects? dealing with numbers can be more complex or harder to grasp. This is so true. Let me show you something. So look on the screen. Is this 5?
Yes.
Everyone thinks that this is 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone thinks that it's just my 5 fingers?
That could be it too.
Right? These are my 5 fingers. I can count them because there was a system developed to count. But math is so abstract that people still wondering, was it developed or was it discovered? So was it invented or was it discovered from the nature? I personally think it was discovered from the nature because we needed to describe the things that happen in natures, and then all these equations come from, and the ways to express it, and so on. And I'll show you also the development of the percentage sign. It's not always been percent, as we know. So yes, this is fingers. But because there's a system developed to count things, I can count my fingers, and it's 5 of them. So that, yes, you're right. That's one of the reasons what makes math so complicated at times. Math is different from other subjects because it requires you to look at things analytically instead of going from feeling and meaning, like with English and writing. Yes, I also agree. It's different, and some people find it more complicated. Some people find it easier. For example, for me, English was a torture because if math, there is one right answer, and you know it, that there is somewhere the right answer. You just need to take the steps and you will get there. But in English, you're on your own. You need to use your imagination, and there is structure too in essay, which I like. It's not the same as writing an essay in Ukrainian, for example. It's a little bit different, but I learned it and I liked it. I took English classes here at ABC too. So there is a system, and for me, it was difficult to just start writing something. So some people find it difficult that there is only one answer and you have to find it, and they feel stressful that you have to take the steps, and if you make a mistake, then you will not get the answer. But actually, mistakes are the opportunities to learn. So look at the mistakes that not as a threat, but something as opportunity to learn something, to build up your knowledge when you make a mistake and to correct it. So math courses are different because they require different study procedures and different techniques. Math is sequential. Math is a language. Math is an unpopular subject, sad face. Math is a skill subject, and math is a thinking subject, and math is a speed subject. So I wanted to go over these points in a little more details. You know, passing most of other classes mainly requires that you read, understand, and recall the subject material. To pass math, however, an extra step is required. You must use the information, apply it to solving the word problems, apply what you learn. It's not just you have the formula sheet in front of you and you know how to use it. You need to know when to use which formulas and how to use it, right? Special math study skills are needed to help you learn more and get better grades in math. If you ever took HD 101 course, it's a great course. But in this course, we learn specific strategies that you can apply to the math classes specifically, and some other subjects too. To pass math, you will need some special techniques. For example, the textbook reading is different, right? You don't just read the textbook as a novel, or notes are different. The Cornell notes are good, but they might not exactly work in math classes. So all these difference we will learn. So why different study procedures? In a math course, you need to do 4 things: understand the material, process the material, then apply what you learned to correctly solve the problem, and remember everything you already learned to learn the new material. Of these 4 tasks, probably the most complicated is the third one, applying what you learn to solve the problems. These 4 tasks work together to help you master the math that you have to learn. If you don't complete one of the tasks, then the others will not be completed either. Learning math is different from learning other subjects because it follows some sequential learning pattern, meaning the material you learn on one day is used the next day and the next day and so on. You can compare learning math to building a house. When you build a house, you first put the foundation, then you put the wall, and then you put the roof. So learning math is kind of like that. It's a building blocks. You cannot put the roof if you don't have the walls. You cannot put the walls if you don't have the foundations. Well, you can put the walls, but the walls will not be sustainable and they will collapse. So you need the foundation first. Unlike other subjects, you cannot forget the math material after math test. It's not like you take history test and, okay, fine, I don't need this history dates anymore. I can forget it and I'll be fine on the next chapter or on the next topic, I'll be fine. In math, everything is like a chain. Whatever you learn before, you will need to use later on. So this building block approach to learning math is the reason why it is so difficult to catch up when you fall behind. All building blocks must be included to be successful in learning math. Sequential learning affects studying for tests in math, right? If you understand chapter 1 and 2, but don't understand chapter 3, you will also have problems understanding chapter 4, the next sequential chapter. And when the test time approaches, you end up trying to teach yourself too many concepts at a time instead of just reviewing for the test. And of course, the test will not be as good as you would like it to be if there is some block is missing. And we'll talk about preparing for the test and reviewing for the test in this class as well. So how long, I think I already heard some responses on this question, how long it has been since you took the math course. For some, it's been really long time. For some, it's been not that much. It's so easy to forget math, just like forgetting foreign language. If you don't speak that language, then you eventually start forgetting it. So the same happening with math. Also, because of the sequential nature of learning math, the math knowledge you have at the beginning of the course determine how smooth or bumpy your learning experience in the math class might be. And students who forgot or never acquired the necessary skills might have some difficulties with the current math courses. So I think it's a great idea and it's a smart move that you guys decided to take this class to refresh on math concepts and prepare yourself for math classes. Now that you know that math is like a building block experience, what should you do if you fall behind or you feel you need extra help? Well, first, don't get anxious, stay calm. Second, contact math learning specialists. We have 2 learning specialists at our learning center. I'm a learning specialist and Professor Janosian is a learning specialist as well for math specifically. We also have a writing learning specialist and academic skills learning specialist. So contact learning specialists, go to tutoring and start picking up on the topics that you need help with as soon as you discover that you need help. Don't wait till the last moment. One of the assignments for this course is to register for the Learning Center Canvas shell. So that's why I'm saying there is a lot of assignments, but don't be scared. All assignments are useful and it's not just to make you busy, but to help you get familiar with the campus resources, to get you familiar with how the classes work and so on. And of course, learn study strategies, math study strategies. That's the main goal of the class. Third, take the time to follow through. Many students just give up too easily or they think they will catch up at a later time. Don't think that and don't give up. We have so many resources on campus. Use them. The energy you put into your class at the beginning of the session or the beginning of semester will be more productive than the energy you'll put at the end of the semester. So remember that. that at the end of the semester, you have not just one class to study for final, but several classes to study for final. So there's no time to learn at the end of the semester, okay? And lastly, study to really learn math and not just mimicking. I see a lot of times in my classes that I use my math lab software. If you guys know about it, it's the software that helps you with the homework problems. They have a lot of helpful tools. They help you solve the problem step by step. So what a lot of students do, they just write down the steps, and then they substitute, they take that number to plug it into that place, the other number from the problem that they're solving, plug it into that place. And that is the worst strategy to understand math. Try to solve it yourself, look at the example, write the notes, make it understandable for you. So understanding the concepts, that's what will help you to apply those concepts later on, not mimicking. You will not memorize what you did on the homework. You can get 100% on the homework, but then you cannot recall what exactly you did. So try to really learn the concepts rather than memorizing. And like I said before, math is a foreign language. So another way to understand studying math is consider that it's like studying foreign language. Looking at the math as a language can improve your study procedures, and learning how to speak math as a language is actually the key to math success. So what happens when you don't practice language for a long time? You forget it, right? So practice math daily. Also, in the next classes, I will show you what it's called the forgetting curve, why it is important to study every day. Because today I have a lot of information, so I don't want to take too much time on it. But next class, I will show you why it's important to do the homework daily, and it will make sense for you too. Like a foreign language, math has unfamiliar vocabulary or terms which must be put into sentences. Those are called expressions, equations, and understanding and solving a math equation is similar to speaking and understanding a sentence in a foreign language. The vocabulary in math is very important. You need to understand what the expression means and how to translate it. And learning how to speak math as a language is one of the keys that we will learn in this class. So now that you know that math is a foreign language, what should you do? Well, first start learning vocabulary definitions, examples, make good notes. Later in class, we will learn how to sufficiently make notes that will be useful for you. Second, get into habit reviewing material before class. For example, when you go to different country, I'm going to go to Paris. I don't want or France. I don't just want to go to France without knowing any French, right? I probably want to learn a few languages before I go to that country. At least, where can I find something? Thank you, please, excuse me, and so on, right? So the same when you start learning a new topic, you want to know a little bit of vocabulary terms, just to maybe put a bridge between what you already know and what you will learn in the class. And third, practice new vocabulary. Unfortunately, math is not a popular subject unless you're complaining about it. You don't hear often on television the news about math formulas or math discoveries, right? Some people think that math is a boring subject, which I don't think so. I think it's a very interesting and fascinating subject, and that's what I try to show you as well. Some people see math as very abstract and irrelevant to their lives, which it is abstract, but it's not in any case irrelevant to our lives. We do use math. We might not just sometimes realize that. Many students have not learned the important concepts, the foundational skills, and that makes it difficult for them to understand other math concepts. Sometimes the subject is taught wrongly or unkindly, for example, by teachers who don't love their profession or who don't love the subject. They just got into it because there was a position open and they don't really understand the subject and carry the passion for teaching it. Some elementary school teachers even hate math and they're afraid of it. So what happens with those kids who have teachers who don't like the subject that they teach? Of course, it transfers to students as well. The system in general is awfully wrong. The system started improving lately, so that's a good thing. Math requires applying new knowledge, while other subjects require just the memorization skills. Math is a skill subject, which means that you need to actively practice the skills involved to master it. It's like mastering playing sports. You don't just watch television and think or listen to some pianist playing piano and think, oh, now I know how to do that. You would not just listen to your instructor or watch the videos if you're in online class and then thinking that you mastered the subject. You need actually practice it yourself, right? If I watch someone doing cartwheels, it doesn't mean that I can go and do the cartwheel too. It will take me hours and hours and hours, just like it took those people who perfected it, who do it well now. So it does take time to practice the skill. Math is a thinking subject because you have to work through the step-by-step process in order to understand the problem. And you have to think from the minute the instructor starts talking. Did you notice in math class, if you come late and the instructor already started the lecture and then you feel like, what are they talking about? And I can't catch up. It takes some time to catch up. Or in the middle of the class, someone texts you and you look at your cell phone and you just, for 4 minutes, you just lost what the instructor was talking. And then when you look up again, you can't really get it, what was missing. It's a little bit difficult to catch up. So you do need, in math classes, you do need to pay attention a lot. The note-taking is challenging because you have to think about math as instructor explains the problem. You have to write the information down and you have to think how apply that information. So you're doing a lot of things while you're taking notes in math class. Also, when you read the math textbook, it's not like a fiction book that you can read, relax while you're reading, you can think of something else. While you read math textbook, you really need to make notes, pay attention to what you read and understand what you're reading. Math is a series of steps and combination rules and properties. So what should you do to help you? Well, first, reserve much more time to read a chapter or complete your homework or complete your notes in math classes than in other classes. They say that in any college class, not just math class, you need at least 2 hours on every hour spent in class. So if math class is usually 3 or 4 units, that means that outside the class, you will need to spend 8 hours. And if we put 3 hours per each hour spent in class, that it will make it 8 to 12 hours outside the class per week. And we'll talk more about this in the next class. And we'll talk about how to make the time management chart. And I'll show you the Google Calendar, really nice feature. I love it. And another thing you can do is during the evening or days when you don't have time to complete the entire homework assignment, at least review your notes and do a couple of problems to keep up with information in your brain. And then lastly, learn how to think like your instructor. While doing the math problem, try to talk it out like you're explaining it to someone. Math is a speed subject, which means that in most cases, it is taught faster than other subjects, especially during summer and intersession, which we used to have intersession. We don't have it anymore. It was only 5 weeks. We might have it in the future. It might come back. So summer classes, anywhere from 6 weeks classes and 12 weeks classes. The regular semester is 16 weeks. I want to go back. Why math is taught faster? Because each course has what it's called course outline of record, COR. Maybe you heard about it. So course outline of record is the obligation contract for faculty, for the instructor to cover this material that the college approved. And it was articulated with the university that you transfer into, that the student who enroll in that class, they will go over all the topics that are on the course outline of record. So basically, the transfer institution, the university, think that if the student took that class, that those are the topics they learn in that class. As you can imagine, there are a lot of topics and only 16 weeks during the regular semester. So the instructors have to set up the schedule for students to learn all the topics. And that's why sometimes it feels so very fast. So instead of complaining that your math class is going fast or your instructor moves on too fast, just learn how to keep up with it. Because like I said, this is the articulated agreement that we have with universities, and the topics cannot be subtracted. I would love to cover just 4 chapters in my class, and that's it. Less pressure, right? Students learn the 4 chapters instead of 9 that we have now in statistics class, for example, but I can't. That's my obligation to teach you all 9 topics. And also, it's a speed subject because of the tests, right? Because most of math tests are limited in time. So you need to think, recall the information during the test. What surprised me, though, is in-person classes, why some students leave earlier if they have, there's 2 hours for tests, but they leave 40 minutes after the test started, and then I look at their test and I see that it's not complete. It's a secret that I never know why students don't take all the time available. And then one student leaving makes other students nervous because they think, oh, they know everything. They already complete the test. What's wrong with me? Why it takes me so long to work on that test? So don't think that. Just relax and focus on your work. What's your attitude toward math? The attitude is not a problem until it becomes a problem. The attitude toward learning math is different from the attitude toward learning other subjects. Many students who have poor experiences with math before, they don't like math, they have bad attitude about it. That is not the major problem. The major problem is if you base your behaviors on that. If an attitude leads to poor class attendance, like it's something that you don't like to do, math is not your favorite subject, so you start missing classes, you start losing focus, or start checking your phone in class instead of focusing because you have trouble understanding it, and you have study skills that need to be improved, that when it becomes a problem. You don't have to love someone in order to do it. For example, I don't like washing dishes. Do you? Well, there's some weird people who do. My husband, for example, he loves washing the dishes because he's a ceramics teacher. So his hands get very dry during a class time. So he loves washing dishes because it makes his hand softer. But most of us, normal people, don't like washing dishes, but we still manage to do it well, right? Because we like eating from clean plates. So you don't have to love something in order to do it well. What you can do is listen to what you tell yourself about studying math. Listen carefully for those words like, I hate math, I never been good in math, I can never learn it. The best way is to add yet, or to change your attitude. And by the way, that's exactly the topics of managing math anxiety class. That's what we learn, how to change the talks and the attitudes. If those thoughts are negative, replace them with positive statements. If you think you can't do this on your own, find someone that you trust. for example, math learning specialist, and tell them what you're trying to do, and we'll figure out how you can do it better. How high school different from college math classes? Well, because the course class time in the high school, students have more time with the teacher every day. What is it, 45 to an hour? And in college, it's only for 16 weeks and only twice a week, or sometimes 3 times a week, sometimes 1 time a week. The amount of material covered in each class is different because in high school, you have the whole year to learn the material. In college, we only have the longest 16 weeks. The length of the course, like I mentioned before, 16 weeks, or sometimes even 5 weeks during a session, or 6 weeks and 12 weeks during summer. So the length of the course is different. The grading system is different. In high school, if you receive D or DF, the borderline, then probably your teacher will give you D and you can take another course. In college, D is D, and sometimes it's not a satisfied grade to move on to the next course level, or it's not satisfied grade for your requirements for the transfer. In high school, tests not as weighted category as in college. In college, sometimes the test might take 50% or 80% even of the whole grade. And in high school, I know they put a lot of pressure on the homework, mostly, not as much on the test. The teacher's attitude, meaning that in high school, teacher would remind you often about the due dates in the assignments. In the college, teachers have the calendar of assignments, or some even don't have. It's on Canvas system, and it's students' responsibility to follow the due dates. So that's the big difference. Time it takes to study for a class is also different. It takes much more time to study in college, as you understand, because it is so small in time compared to the high school. And also extra credit don't substitute the work needed to be done on a regular basis. As in high school, for example, you can complete some extra work and it will substitute even test grade. But some teachers don't even have the extra credit in their classes. Most of the teachers, most of my math colleagues don't have any extra credit. So don't rely on extra credit, do regular assignments. Extra credit is just a little extra. But if you don't have time to do the regular assignments, how would you have time to do the extra assignments, right? So keep up with the regular assignments. So the types of math courses, we already talk about it. I will leave it to the next class. We'll talk more about the differences of face-to-face, what you can expect in face-to-face classes, and what you can expect in online classes. And we'll learn some online study strategies as well, and what's the difference between face-to-face and online learning. So now the assignment that I have for you is, how do you think learning math pays off? Think about your future career and how would you use math in your future career? And you can even Google it. I have no problem with you Googling the answer to this question. So think what you want to do in life, what you want to be, and look at different sources to find how you would be applying math in what you do. One more thing for today. I wanted to go back to our course, Canvas course, and show you what assignments are due after today. This week's assignments would be class participation, which you already basically done. So I have what topics we did today. We'll put the presentation that I had today in the modules as well. And so after today's class, take a picture of your notes and submit as PDF or JPEG or JPEG file. You may use the Canvas scanner app, Cam Scanner. It's called Cam Scanner, to combine several pages if you want to practice that. And fill out the questionnaire, which is the participation quiz. So I should say participation quiz. And make sure to submit it by the end of today. Okay, and the next assignment is the participation quiz. That's your questionnaire that I mentioned before. There are 4 questions. The questions such as, based on what you learned today in class, how do you think math is similar to other subjects or different from other subjects? Based on today's class discussion, what differences between high school and math classes you learned about? What is your future career? How do you see math applies to your future career? And in which way math is a thinking subject and what you can do to help yourself to learn. The next assignment is the homework. Update your Canvas profile. All you need is update the picture in your Canvas. And I have a very short video on how to do that. And then fill out the introduction card, because I want to learn about you. And then participate in the discussion. Tell the class, tell me about yourself, about what's your major and what are you expecting to learn in this class. And the next is what math topics I would like to learn about. And all assignments, you notice that they have some due dates. There are 2 assignments, the participation that's due today, updating Canvas profile due by tomorrow, and introduction card due by tomorrow. But if you have time today, just do them when you have time. The earlier, the better, right? Just get it out of the way. And then we have assignment, the Learning Center Canvas Shell registration, and finally, complete math study skills inventory. As you see, all fun assignments, all the assignments that will be helpful in the future. I just want to tell you again that I truly do look forward to working with you this semester. I haven't taught this class last semester because they had to cut it. They didn't have enough people, so they had to cut it. And these 2 are my favorite probably classes. Math Study Strategy and Managing Math Anxiety are my favorite classes. I also coordinate, I'm the director of the teaching preparation program. In case you planning to become a teacher, talk to me. I'm the person of contact. And I also teach some math classes, mostly lately statistics, but I did teach other classes as well. I'll see you next week.